good amount of days into this whole quarantine thing. We've tried really hard as a family to keep ourselves in the house and not out and about when we don't need to be. But just like everybody else, we're getting stir crazy when it comes to wrestling and wanting to try to get the best of our situation. We know as of right now, U23s and juniors have not been postponed or canceled or anything like that. So we want to make sure athletes are able to be ready and prepared for those types of events. Please don't touch that. So we want to go ahead and start trying to put out some videos so we can put together some videos so that you can feel a little bit more prepared and ready. Now with that, I didn't grow up in the best situation all the time, and my parents tried really hard, but there were times where, doing a workout at the house was the only option I had. I had a little sister that was sick, in and out of the hospital. My mom was raising 4 kids. So to me, in my mind, if I had to go to practice, it was practice, like no matter what. So I'd always find a way to try to make sure that I was getting my workouts in, even if it was not in a wrestling room. So to me, this is kind of a little bit more second nature. So putting together a little workout at my house that really fits wrestling is something that I'm very used to, and I'm very excited to share to you guys. I know that we've seen a lot of videos out there right now of some different workouts and different things. A lot of people have, nice little mat underneath them. So I'm going to try to show you some things that do not have a mat underneath them so that you can still feel like, even if you don't have those resources, you can get in what you need to. Also, a big thing is we talk about social distancing and not being around other people outside of your house. I'm also going to try to bring to you some things you can do with people that are already in your house, already exposed to you, already around you right now, to try to utilize those people to try to make you better. And maybe you'll teach them something. Maybe, you pushing and showing them some perseverance to your, 10-year-old sibling or 8-year-old sibling might teach them to be able to push through a harder situation as well. And to show that, really in life we don't need to set up excuses. We need solutions and reality to move ourselves forward. So with that today, I'm going to show you my little setup of what I have going on here. So I have a couple pillows on the floor. The red pillow is where I'm going to be doing all my sprawls. I need a little bit more space. I got big hips, and it's nice and cushiony. I got 2 other brown pillows over here. Those pillows are to be able to do my shots on. And then I kind of set it up in a little circular motion so that what I can do is also not only take a bunch of shots and take a bunch of sprawls, but I can almost do like a little mental match in my head of, okay, now I sprawl, now I shot, now I down block, and I'm going to kind of utilize these pillows around the room to do that as well. I also made sure that I had a nice open wall over here because I'm going to do some tennis ball throws against the wall. Now again, you can use a tennis ball, a bouncy ball, again, look in your siblings' stuff, see what they might have around the house. As I'm sitting here on my table next to me, I have a little pink bouncy ball. So don't limit yourself to just what I'm showing you, but maybe think a little bit outside the box of what you could use and utilize as well. Back in the day, I used to use my dog. Her name was Olympia, a cute little stout pit bull. She was one of my favorite training partners. Of course, I'm much older now, so I try to use my dog. Diamond that I have now, she was like, no, I'm just gonna lay on my back, please pet me. So she didn't want to come play, but maybe throughout she might jump in and want to move around and dance around. And if she does, I'll show you some stuff to do with your little pets at home to be able to utilize as well. My thing with my dog at home, just in case we kind of can't touch on that, is I would get my stance, I'd stand in front of her, and I would try to touch her leg, and boy was she fast. And what she would do is just nose punch me in the hand. She wouldn't never bite or anything like that. She knew I was having fun. She knew it was playful. And again, if I could get to her leg before she nose punches me, then I did a good job. If I didn't, then I needed to try harder or set her up a little bit better. She's definitely had better reflexes than me and was a lot faster than me. So she was, again, just a great training partner to have at home. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and, also I have a ball or couch over here as well. You know, as freestyle wrestlers, we have some back arching motions and things like that we can work on. So I'm going to show you how to do those on a couch. Now I'm going to say this, most of you guys are probably older watching this video. Maybe you guys get some younger kids watching these videos. I'm the adult in the house and I buy these things. So these are all things that are mine, so I can use them as I need to. But what I did do is I went and got my own pillow. I didn't put somebody else's pillow on the floor. And then my living room pillows end up on the floor all the time with my kids playing, running around, things like that. So what I'm going to encourage is go ask your parents, go ask your babysitter, stuff like that before you just grab some pillows and start throwing them on the floor, or grabbing a ball and throwing it against the wall. What I say is those really soft tennis balls really don't mark up or you know, make any problems. If somebody's trying to study in your house, be respectful about the time that you're doing these workouts as well, because they can be kind of loud as you kind of pound your hips into the ground. And then definitely ask if it's okay if you do back arches into the couch. These are not aggressive or hard, so it's kind of the same reality as if somebody's sitting on the couch. But again, we always want to be respectful because these aren't all our things, and so we want to make sure that we ask. Another thing I have is a soccer ball, basketball, volleyball, dodgeball, things like that. Anything that you can kind of wrap your arms around and hold almost as if it's like a nice big thigh or a big waist or a regular size waist or something like that is a ball that's going to be okay. Or a nice size thick pillow is going to work as well, because we're going to kind of do some squeezes and some back arches with it and some things like that. So hopefully you stay tuned. Hopefully I didn't talk too much, and we're going to go ahead and get into some cool things. Get started. The first thing I'm going to do is just shots over here on the pillow, so you can see what that looks like. Really the only thing the pillow is doing is protecting your knee from hitting a really hard surface. And so again, kind of any pillow is going to work for that. So those are some shots that you can do, again, just a pillow. All right, oops, I'm trying to keep it over here because we're going to do a workout after. Okay, so with the bigger pillow, I'm going to use that to hit my sprawls, so I can kind of be a little bit more aggressive with my hips when I do this. So all I'm going to do is kind of stance in motion, do some fast feet, some things like that, and then I'm just going to hit my sprawl. So again, a little bit harder to kind of circle up on those. Of course, in our practice room, I always encourage hit your sprawl, circle up. Again, we're kind of a little bit more limited with space, so if you feel like circling up is better for you, go ahead and do it. If you feel like this is going to be efficient for now, that's okay too. Okay, so now that we have kind of our own little area set up here, I'm going to use these as kind of like little blocks to circulate my stance in motion. Okay, so I'm going to start here. So you kind of get an idea, hit some sprawls, hit some high crotches, and then, you know, hit some outside singles over here. On this far one, on carpet, it might not swivel so easy. On the hardwood floor, I was actually shocked how nice I was able to kind of spin on those shots to get a good feel for them. Also, one of the big things that I always want to point out, and I always push with my athletes, is stance and motion should be a visual thing in your mind as you go through. And so the idea that somebody posted, okay, I pulled the 2-on-1. Okay, I posted the 2-on-1 across. Okay, maybe I tap a high crotch to get them step back. And then I go ahead and hit my outside single. And then I finish that. So as I kind of went through a little bit, I did a little bit of that. Definitely not as good a shape as most. So it probably didn't look as neat and clean as I expect my athletes to have it. But I tried to play it out a match in my head. How would I wrestle this? How would I move? How would I fake? How would I pull underhooks, clear overhooks, circle, down block, things like that to kind of add to what I'm doing in the visualization side of our sport. The next thing I'm going to show you is some back arches real quick. I use a ball. You don't have to use a ball. I do because I always like to feel what it feels like to have something in my hands and something in my arms when I'm throwing. Use a pillow, use whatever you feel comfortable with. Use nothing. I don't think there's a wrong way or right way to do it on these. But I'm going to go ahead and do these right here on the couch. I'm going to do the back arch, and then I'm going to kind of squat myself back down and stand back up. So because I'm so elevated, I felt like it was a little challenging to try to rotate my hips the right way, and I've kind of found myself rotating a little bit off. And so I feel like if maybe your couch is a little lower and you feel comfortable rotating out, go for it. But I'm just going to go ahead and do just the arch. Soccer ball here, just a nice squishy ball. I go ahead, butterfly lock it in my hands, squeeze it nice and tight. So to be honest, I tried this in a wrestling room. I do back arches often. I know exactly where I'm supposed to stand to hit an arch or a throw without any issues. But I did find myself a little worried when I did this the first time, when I first back arched, to know that like with the height that I'm actually gonna land on it. So if you want to take it slow the first time, go for it. If you feel confident, comfortable, just go ahead and arch. Okay, so I got my ball locked. I know where I am, and then I just kind of dip. Even if you, well, you know, go through the whole motion. Step, step, arch. Come back up. Again, step, step, arch. Come back up. Step, step, arch. And then come back up. So that's a good way to get your back arches in. Okay, the next thing I'm going to go to is just kind of ball tosses against the wall. Again, if your parents don't want you to do it, don't do it. But if they don't mind, I have an entire collection of pictures on this wall. So I'm always going to make sure I don't hit a picture. But I've practiced this, I've tried this. It's not a hard throw. None of my pictures have came down. So maybe you test it out, make sure it's okay first, and then go ahead and do it. So I'm just going to be here in my stance, toss the ball, move my feet. Okay, so that's another one. And then, okay, one more thing. Again, ask your parents, because this is going to be slamming on the floor. Be creative, okay? So I have hardwood floors almost throughout my whole house. I have linoleum floors in my kitchen, and in my bathroom. I only have one place with carpet. To do this on carpet might be a little bit more challenging. So I would suggest, like, think outside the box. If your little body fits inside the bathroom, and the bathroom's the only place that has this, get you out of the bathroom. If your kitchen has it, of course, be smart, because kitchen has crazy things, but don't be afraid to go ahead and do this in the kitchen or any other space that has a place for it to bounce. Now I tested my ball, mine's a little flat, which I think is a good thing for this. So I kind of let a little air out and let it be a little flat so that when I slam it, it doesn't bounce up really high. And so all I'm gonna do with this is stance and motion ball slams. Keeping in mind, when I snap somebody, I don't really snap with my arms. I'm snapping with my entire back, my lats, and really using everything to pull them down and into me and up underneath me. So I'm going to have a lot of power with this, but you're going to notice it's not going to bounce a whole lot, and that's more because it is a little flat as well. Okay, so Some people like their sweet spot way up here high. I always think in a match I'm never snapping somebody from here. So I like my sweet spot to be right about in front of my face, because when I snap somebody, it's usually from right about here. So I take my snap from here down. Okay, and then we can put some motion in it as well. So I'm going to circle side to side as I snap this, and probably around as well. So that's some wrestling stuff from you, from Limestone Women's Wrestling to the wrestling world, to my athletes. Always keep in mind, life isn't about excuses, it's about solutions. So find what you can do in your home and in your situation to make sure that you're not limiting yourself to what kind of athlete you become and who you want to be.